Gemma, if I just bring you in, because you've spoken quite openly about your parents, and in terms of like empowering people to speak out, you seem to have a great support network with your parents, and you've done some amazing things. But now my question to you: how can we empower those that may not be fortunate enough to have that close support network? That how can we empower those to talk who don't have the friend or the mum or the teacher or the coach that's close enough for them to be open? And I think it's a really important bit of work that we need to look at.
Oh gosh, give me a hard one there. That is a difficult one, but it's difficult because it's difficult, I think what I've seen, especially during lockdown, is the charity sector and amazing people as well, not especially from charities, but just people who are reaching out to each other. And as much as social media has its downfalls, we all know that, we've all been there, it can also be such a force for good if it's used in the right way. I remember looking at there was a thread on Twitter about Thanksgiving last year, and this woman, I don't know if anybody had seen it, but there was this woman who drew herself at a table, and she put the picture on Twitter, and she said, if you're alone this Thanksgiving, send me a picture of yourself and I'll draw you on my table. And it was so amazing, because by the end of Thanksgiving, there were 4, 5, 6 pieces of A4 paper, all full of people that she had drawn to join her at the table. And that was when I thought, wow, there is such a power in this social media world that we can use for good. And there's such a power of people are much, much smarter and adaptable and clever than they give themselves credit for. Because for somebody to think outside the box like that, with their heart being good and pure and worrying about somebody else, but also to engage people who are feeling alone, I thought that is just amazing in changing the narrative around the conversation of mental health. And as you say, like a lot of the kids who are struggling at the moment, school was their escape, and they can't go to school. And, a lot of them aren't fortunate enough to be able to attend online schooling because they haven't got a laptop or an iPad or whatever fancy device there is, and they're trapped. But I think now they're seeing, whether it be in when they can go out and meet friends in the park when it's allowed, or whether it be that they can go on their phone and look at Twitter, there are so many people who are saying, if you're feeling like this, you're not alone, please reach out. And I think that's, amongst all of the sadness and the struggle and the rubbish we've all been through, like, how amazing is that in 2021 we're finally getting to a point where, as we've all been talking about, people are starting to understand that it's okay to not be okay, but understand that mental health needs to be as addressed as physical health. I think I've been very fortunate, but just to give some insight, and I hope Mum don't have a go at me. I can't see her on my screen, but I know she's watching with Dad. It wasn't all like shiny and rosy while we were going through our 13 years of, moments. Let's say, there was many a World War III that was happening in my kitchen around dinner time. Let me tell you, we didn't get it right. We weren't perfect. We didn't know all the tools and, what to say and what not to say. But we learned together through our experience, and now we use that to help families. And I would suggest that not even just affected by eating disorders, any carer and sufferer dynamic of any mental health, or, whichever way somebody's expressing their pain shows itself, how to be able to come together and start talking to each other as human beings. And I think that's something that myself and we at SEED are really, really passionate about. It's about talking to the person as the person and not forgetting who that person is. And just to explain, eating disorders especially, but any mental health illness, they're such clever and manipulative segments of the mind, shall we say, and they make you forget who you are as a person. So what we at SEED always encourage is to reach out and remember, if somebody's struggling, the person is struggling, not the eating disorder, not the OCD, not the self-harming, not the person. So to remember and connect with them as a person is so key, I think, to accelerating the conversation as well.